Hey everybody, welcome to Friday and the Wake Up, your rundown of the entertainment, media biz, and digital platform stories to know today. Today being February 28th. As always, brought to you by the freshest Colombian coffee you can get, Devoción Coffee. In today's Wake Up, Dick Wolf solves the mystery of the $150 million payday at Universal Television. Universal Content Productions and iHeartRadio make a big podcast deal. Side note, I got a great deal from my bagel guy this morning. Thanks, George. The world's largest advertising firm loses 17% of its value in one day. And Universal Pictures, busy day at Universal yesterday. Anyway, they dropped the trailer for their Candyman horror franchise reboot from producer Jordan Peele, who also co-wrote the movie.
I'm hoping to spread the story all about Candyman. The mirror invites you to summon him. You should say his name. I dare you.
Candyman.
Candyman.
Candyman. Candyman.
Don't say that.
That's some wise advice. Candyman hits theaters this June. And now let's head over to Hollywoodland. Dick Wolf signed a massive 5-year deal to stay in the Universal TV family, according to Deadline. It includes 3-year renewals for his 3 Chicago series, PD, Fire, and Med. Cops, firefighters, and doctors. I got that right. And also for Law & Order SVU, which will bring that show through its 24th season. The deal also includes a ton of future TBD series commitments on both NBC and Peacock. Hell, I'm pretty sure even I'm in a series on Wednesday night next fall. Bloomberg News reports that Wolf is also getting $150 million up front in the deal. Wolf has been at Universal for 36 years. Liev Schreiber has joined the Will Smith Warner Brothers movie King Richard. That one tells the true life story of Venus and Serena's father. Liev is going to play an instrumental tennis coach in the movie, which is now in production, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Ryan Murphy set up another project under his huge Netflix deal, according to Deadline. This one's for a movie called Janet, which is about the disgraced Washington Post writer Janet Cook, who won a Pulitzer in the early 80s for a story she fabricated about a young kid addicted to heroin. It'll be written and directed by Pose writer, director, and producer Janet Mock, who is also a former journalist. Sofia Vergara and Heidi Klum are replacing Gabrielle Union and Julianne Hough on America's Got Talent at NBC. That's according to Deadline. Klum was already on the show for 6 seasons in the 2010s. Simon Cowell, Howie Mandel, and host Terry Crews are all remaining. Disney Plus is bringing back the animated series The Proud Family in a new series called The Proud Family Louder and Prouder, though no word yet on a premiere time frame on the streaming service. And good news for paternity testing companies, Maury has been renewed for 2 more seasons in syndication by NBC Universal. And we'll finish out here with news from my Irish people. Sharon Horgan of Catastrophe is going to exec produce another series at Amazon called Frank of Ireland, which is co-created by Donald Gleason and his brother Brian, who will play the Frank in the title. He's described as a narcissistic fanaticist, there's a title for you, who lives in Dublin with his mom and believes that the world owes him a favor. Donald will play his wingman named Doofus. Yeah, I can see this being an Irish series. Over on the digital platforms, Universal Content Productions has signed a first-look deal with the largest producer of podcasts, iHeartRadio, according to Variety. UCP will have the first right to adapt iHeart's original podcasts for television. UCP also has a podcast production arm of their own, and the deal gives them the option to co-produce their podcasts with iHeartRadio. Discovery has hired Hulu's VP of Content Acquisitions, Lisa Holm, to head their content strategy on their direct-to-consumer streaming services. They most recently launched the Kitchen subscription streaming service from Food Network and have a couple of more in the pipeline as well. And what the hell? We'll put your latest coronavirus updates here. Well, not your coronavirus. Well, hopefully. BTS's Korean tour dates have been canceled, as has the annual Facebook F8 Developers Conference, which was scheduled for 3 months from now. You can decide which one has a bigger effect on society. And Disney also shut down their 2 Tokyo theme parks for at least the next 2 weeks. This is after already shutting down their parks in Shanghai and Hong Kong last month. Up next in the media biz, ominous revenue news at ad agency WPP. Even worse news from the country's largest newspaper group, but an upbeat look at your entertainment options this weekend with our FSS feed, including new music from Lady Gaga. But first, the Wake Up is brought to you by Devoción Coffee. Now, if you're having your morning cup of coffee, you may know it's freshly roasted. A lot of people print that on their bags, but what you don't know is when those coffee beans were picked off the trees. Depending upon the origin, that can be as much as 6 to 9 months. And we all know that coffee is better when it's fresh, and there's no fresher coffee you can get than Devoción Coffee. Devoción FedExes freshly picked beans from the mountains of Colombia every week to their headquarters in Brooklyn, freshly roasts them, and puts it in your coffee cup, often within just 2 weeks' time. They have 4 locations in New York, but if you live in LA, San Francisco, or anywhere, you can sign up for their subscription plan and they'll send you beans as often as you want. Every week, every 3 weeks. I'm more of a 2-week kind of guy. Whatever you need. Go to devoción.com/wakeup and get 15% off your first order. That's Devoción, DEVOCION.com/wakeup. Get 15% off on me. Well, on Devoción, but it's kind of for me. Get yours today. And now over to the media biz. The world's largest advertising and PR firm, WPP, saw their stock drop 17% yesterday on the London Exchange, mainly because they forecast flat revenue for 2020, according to CNBC. Their stock is now where it was in 2012. Over in Newspapers Are Dying news, the top 2 editors at the Chicago Tribune left the company yesterday, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. The Tribune continues to struggle with cost-cutting by their new controlling owner, private equity firm Alden Capital. And the country's largest newspaper group, Gannett, laid off another 29 employees across 17 of their papers, according to Pointner. Gannett reported their revenue was down 10% in the fourth quarter of 2019, with print advertising down over 18%. Their stock is now trading below $5, about 1/3 of where it was a year ago. In happier news, finally, here is our weekend FSS feed. A look at the new entertainment options to enjoy in the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday ahead. Just one major new release at the box office, continuing a pretty low volume for the month. And that's the wide release for the Elizabeth Moss horror thriller, The Invisible Man, from Universal, which has been getting pretty excellent reviews this week. Warner Brothers is also expanding their Impossible Jokers movie to over 1,500 screens this weekend after finding a pretty surprising success last weekend on 350 screens. And in limited release, Sony Pictures Classics has the Steve Coogan International Rich Folks parody called Greed, Party of the Century. If you'd rather not leave the house, just one new series on the streaming services this week. Netflix has added 7 episodes of the teenager unexpectedly gets telekinetic powers TV series called I Am Not Okay With This. Over on the TV, VH1 has the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race tonight with special premiere guest judge Nicki Minaj. You can catch that one at 8 p.m. Tomorrow night, SNL is back with host John Mulaney and music guest David Byrne. And Sunday night, Mike Bloomberg is probably on 60 Minutes. He said he sat down for an interview, but no official word from the show. And at 10 p.m. on Sunday night, AMC premieres the new anthology series from Jason Segel called Dispatches from Elsewhere, which follows 4 people as they find clues to a puzzle behind the veil of everyday life. In the weekend reads, Bloomberg has a dive into the full history of HQ Trivia, rest in peace. To note, The Ringer is also doing a forthcoming podcast series on the topic. And Digiday has a read on how a Google initiative has been substantially helping newspapers in smaller markets gain digital subscribers. Links to both of those stories in the newsletter, of course. And we'll close out today with 2 tracks. I mean, it is leap year weekend, people. First up is the first new music from Lady Gaga since A Star Was Born, a song called Stupid Love, which certainly brings her back to her previous style of music before she met Jackson Maine. And secondly, the Black Keys are the latest big act to announce they're going on tour this summer, and they're bringing along Gary Clark Jr. as well. Tickets go on sale today at 10 a.m. That's a wrap for today. You can get links to all stories featured here in our email. Sign up at thewakeup.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll see you all on Monday.